عباده الذين اصطفى ما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الله يعلم ما تحمل كل أنثى وما تغيض الأرحام وما تزداد وكل شيء عنده بمقدار عالم الغيب والشهادة الكبير المتعال سواء منكم من أسر القول ومن جهر به ومن هو مستخف بالليل وسارب بالنهار له معقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم وإذا أراد الله بقوم سوءا فلا مرد له وما لهم من دونه من وال صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Surah Ra'd, last three ayat that we did last night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has answered the three questions that the kuffar, the Yahud and Nasara and the pagans of Arab, they brought to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the demands that they brought, them being baseless, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened up. Now, returning to the real focus of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning different qualities of himself, of his absolute authority and absolute wisdom, absolute knowledge. Allahu ya'lamu ma tahmilu kullu untha. Allah knows what every female carries. وَمَا تَغِيضُ الْأَرْحَامُ وَمَا تَزْدَادُ, and what the wombs decrease or increase. So the perfect knowledge of what a woman is carrying, it is only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In those days there was no question about it. They never knew what was going to be, what is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Will the outcome be alive or dead? Will it be beautiful or not beautiful? Will it be healthy or not healthy? All of that knowledge lies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In these days as well, although medical sciences have advanced so much in ultrasound and everything, but still a lot of times this happens that the doctors say one thing, and when the actual process, the actual birth takes place, it is something else. Similarly with ultrasound, they are able to see some features and stuff, but still none of that is perfect knowledge. These are mostly guesses and probabilities, that so much chance, this percentage of chance that this is going to be. This has happened that sometimes they tell the parents that this is the gender, and then there is a fight between the doctor and the parents themselves that you said it was going to be this gender and it is a totally opposite gender. Sometimes it is no gender, sometimes it is in between. All of that is known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. The perfect knowledge, ilm, is perfect knowledge without any doubts and direct knowledge. Even if we are able to, even if medical sciences advance so much that they are able to exactly, accurately predict what's going to happen, still it is not ilm, because it is dependent on some means of finding out. And Allah's ilm is independent of all means of finding the knowledge. Whatever you learn through means, it is in its correct definition, it's not ilm, but it is news, that you are using some means to get the knowledge of something. The knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perfect and not dependent on any means. So that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One another feature, another quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, another example for human beings to understand that who knows that? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ عِنْدَهُ بِمِقْدَارٍ, and for every people, everything there is a measure with him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you look at any creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, any aspect of the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything is very proportionate, everything is with a very specific, with a great design. And you think about anything and you find that. And different scientists and different branches of sciences have tried to explore this. There's so many numbers, so many codes that people are trying to explore. And our belief is that science is going to keep on progressing and progressing and progressing and keep on finding more and more about the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But only that science is credible which connects one to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they take the step further to actually connect with the creator and say that there is a creator, such a perfect design, such a beautiful design has not come to existence on its own. Alimul ghaybi wa shahada. Again, alim, the one who has ilm knowledge without any means. Alimul ghaibi wa shahada. So if something is behind this wall and I've seen it, and then I can say that yes, there's a chair in that bathroom, that will not be, in the truest definition, it will not be called ilm. Ilm would be when I don't have any means of seeing, I've never been there, nobody's told me, I haven't looked through the wall, I don't have cameras or anything, and without any means I know what is there. None of us have that knowledge. This is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is alimul ghaib. Ghaib means those things that we cannot perceive. So with any of our senses, not only with our vision, but also with our sense of smell or listening or touching, none of those senses can get us there. That is ghaib. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one, the only one who is alimul ghaib. Was shahada. Shahada is something that we can perceive with our senses, with our touch, with our vision, with our smelling, with our listening, all of those things. Shahada is that thing which we can perceive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His knowledge is perfect about both of these things. They are basically the same. They are for us that something is ghaib and something is shahada, but everything is known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the same. Al-Kabirul Muta'al, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the great and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the high. So the ulama have written here that the meaning is that the knowledge and all the authority, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are Kabir and Muta'al, which means that they are bigger than your understanding and they are higher than your understanding. So if you are questioning the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what do you have? Where is your logic coming from? Where is your intellect coming from? It is coming from a very limited, very small, very low source, which is your brain, which is your logic. Allah know it about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is Kabir and Muta'al, much bigger, much beyond, much higher than whatever you can understand. So don't think that what we cannot do, how Allah can do. If you cannot collect the particles of the dust and create a human, don't think that Allah cannot do it. If you cannot know something, don't think that Allah cannot do it because we cannot do it or if it does not make sense to us. And this is at the core of our belief, that we have to understand our limit. We have to understand the limit of every capacity that we have, and we do not assume or portray or try to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on what we have. But we understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us. If He has said that He knows, He knows. If He said that He has control, He has control. And if He said that He can do something, He can do everything, then He can do everything, no matter if it does not make any sense to us. And when we have believed this, that we know that Allah has perfect knowledge, Allah has perfect authority, Allah has perfect control, Allah has perfect wisdom, then it only makes sense to listen and believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sawa'un minkum man asarra al-qawla wa man jahara bih. And several examples happen to these kuffar as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Sawa'un minkum, alike for him is he among you, from among you, man asarra al-qawl, who speaks quietly. Asar is when somebody speaks to themselves in their mind or in their heart, or in a way that nobody can listen. Waman jahara bih, and jahar is that speech, the intent behind which is that someone listens, someone, that is communication. So for Allah, it is both of you, a person who speaks to themselves quietly, secretly, and someone who speaks by way of telling others or making others listen. It is the same for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no difference. وَمَنْ هُوَ مُسْتَخْفٍ بِاللَّيْلِ وَسَارِبٌ بِالنَّهَارِ. The one who hides in the night, quietly and secretly walks in the night, hiding from others, and the one who freely walks out in the open day, walks out openly in the day, they are the same to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the vision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the same for both of them. This darkness, this light, this quietness and this loudness, all of these things, they are for human beings, not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this has happened. There were several examples before them that they tried to do something secretly. The Prophet ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him news. They tried to plan something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the Prophet ﷺ the news. And this is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, and Allah, no matter how secretly they do it, sometimes they had something in their heart and the Prophet ﷺ was able to tell them because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him. لَهُ مُعَقِّبَاتٌ مِّن بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed angels over one another, over you, min bayni yadayhi wa min khalfi. Mu'aqqibat, there's groups of angels which come one after another. They are yahfazunahu min amrillah, by the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they protect a person. So for every person there are angels, and they are mu'aqqibat, they replace one another. There's angels in front of us, there's angels behind us, and the Prophet ﷺ has told us that these angels, they change their duties at Asr time and Fajr time. There's angels ahead of us, there's angels behind us, which protect us from many things, many afflictions, many calamities. For example, a person does not fall in a pit, a wall does not fall on them. These things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects people from, and there's angels that are protecting a person. And some ulama have also said that these also, with their presence and their company, instill in the heart of a believer protection and dislike from sinning, and affection, want to do good things. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, and when somebody does something which the effect of which is to take this protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala away from them, then something bad happens to them, be it in the terms of good deeds or bad deeds, or be it in terms of protection and affliction. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Surely Allah does not change the condition of a people unless they change it themselves. So Allah's way is that Allah grants, and Allah keeps you in a good shape unless you choose to go in a bad shape by disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by consciously saying and agreeing that I'm going to, na'udhu billah, do a sin, or I'm going to do something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not put you in a bad shape, bad situation. وَإِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ سُوءًا فَلَا مَرَدَّ لَهُ. When Allah intends bad, something bad to happen to a people, فَلَا مَرَدَّ لَهُ, there is no way to turn it back. وَمَا لَهُ مِن دُونِهِ مِن وَالٍ, and apart from Allah there is no caretaker, no patron, no friend for these people. So these people who turn away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and who decide and resolve to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then when Allah decides that some affliction is going to befall them, that there is no one turning it away. Now one thing should be understood is that there's a difference between the afflictions that people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and believers, of course there's afflictions and their problems in their lives as well, but the problems of a believer and the problems of a disbeliever are way different, are worlds apart. The problems of a disbeliever are a punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the problems of a believer are a blessing and ni'mat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The problems of a disbeliever perturb him, disturb him, push him even further away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The problems of a believer, they pull him even closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They connect him further with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have explained this many times in Friday Majalis, that in reality the problems of a believer are not really problems. They are blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are things of reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن الذي يحلك بخاصتك. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.